uh, Terry, I think I sent you guys both the commercial I made for it.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. I enjoyed that.
Thank you.
At first, I wasn't sure if it was you doing the voice or
I
someone
was
else.
me. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
got one of my regulars has a record store up in Terre Haute, Indiana, and his name is Sipples. So you can only imagine how fun that'll be for the commander to say that word. And so I told him I got an idea, so I'm going to get the cold slither guys set up, and the commander would be like, "Come to Sipple Records," and blah blah blah, all that stuff. Well, hey, we're live on Toy Talk. That's Terry, that's David, and I'm Dan.
Hey, everybody.
It's like Hollywood Squares. I'm the center square, folks. So you need me to win.
I was thinking this was Circle of Jerks for a minute. I was going to tell you were in the middle.
I don't know. That's probably not a good place to be.
Everybody gets beauty there.
You got to be in the middle at some point,
So it's been really another busy, hefty week for G.I. Joe news and reports and all kinds of stuff.
It certainly has.
You want to go into some of this stuff, Terry, and get this out of the way?
Well, we had the, what was it, the London Comic Con?
MCM London, yes.
MCM London, where they revealed, I'm a little bit, I haven't watched a lot of that stuff yet, but I'm a little bit confused as to whether they released the digital renders or if they actually showed the physical figures first.
They showed both. They showed both during that panel, and then the pre-order is November 4th for those 3 figures. But we reported on it a few weeks ago that we knew that this was going to be retro. These were going to be the first retro of 2026.
Right.
So it was no shock.
Yeah, so we've got the retro Crazy Legs. I'm not going to pull pictures up right now, maybe here in a little bit. But we've got the retro carded Crazy Legs. We have the female Crimson Guard. Let me turn that off real quick. The female Crimson Guard, which I can't see them not doing a blue repaint with a different head and making Cadet Deming. I mean, that would be
They didn't do Knox. They didn't give it another head with Dr. Knox. And they didn't even get any of the regular Crimson Guard Fred heads or the Armor Cobra Commander Fred 7 heads. So I don't see us get any heads for any of those.
We will or we won't. I mean, I see it as being a toss-up whether or not they would even think.
I think the ship has already sailed because it looked like it already had the package layout and stuff.
Mr. Dana White, welcome, sir. How are you?
Hey,
how are you today?
Hey, welcome, Dana. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, definitely.
So feel free to join in any of the conversation that we're having. We're talking about the new classified retro carded figures. So who else was in that, David? It was the Crimson Guard and the Crazy Legs. Who?
We got Retro Zap, we got regular Crazy Legs, and we got female Crimson Guard. Now, Zap, I don't understand why they stuck him in there. He should have been a mainline character figure release. I don't get it, but it is what it is. We can't do nothing about it. I can see why they did Crazy Legs since we already got the Dragonfly Night Force release of him, and I guess the Crimson Guard, it makes sense. We already got a retro Crimson Guard in the retro line.
Right.
So, all right.
What's wrong with Zap being a retro figure?
Because he's never appeared before. This is his first figure ever in the classified line. Why aren't we going to get a classified, real, correct version of him? I don't get it. I just don't get it.
This is, in my opinion, the most correct version of that figure being a retro carded figure.
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody complain about Zap.
He
looks awesome.
I don't have any problem with the figure itself and all the accessories and stuff. I just have a problem with how it's being released.
Yeah, I wish all the figures came retro carded. I think it would make more sense. We would double our sales on them at the shop. I know that.
I wish all the retro styled figures came retro carded.
There you go.
Is that just from a display standpoint? Is that why you guys like them like that?
Yes. Yeah, I guess so. For me, I like to see them. This goes back to when they did the retro Star Wars Black Series, where they had the 6-inch figures on the cards. They just look so awesome in the packaging and the beautiful card art or photo art from back in the day. To me, it's a no-brainer. and I have guys that will buy 2, sometimes 3 of them, one to open and one to display. Now, on the retro card stuff, with the exception of AI got punched in the face Flint,
Man,
I only bought one to open up because that
Flint
one's not getting
Shapiro?
displayed. Yeah. Now, if I'd gotten the one in 85, he probably, well, no, he would have been sold, but
I've seen a few of the people getting those in the groups, man. They're trading them for all kinds of crazy stuff.
but
Some of them have been selling on eBay for over $1,000. I mean, it's
damn,
nuts.
that's wild.
I'd love to
But
have
no,
one, but I don't need one that bad.
I just think they look better to be released the way they originally came out because they sold the way they sold for a reason. They were packaged that way for a reason. The card art, the logo, the brand, the collector stuff on the back, the flag points gave you the community feel of it, and you had a vested interest in it. Kirk Bazingian does a really good job at shows, and I'm sure you could catch it on YouTube somewhere where he literally breaks down the whole marketing of that card front and back. And it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like we haven't made square wheels yet, you know?
It worked for me, that's for sure. The bummer for me, granted, I'm this guy now. You know, I'm not a little kid, but like when I look at the file card, it's so little information, and I do understand why they break it up into so many languages and stuff like that. You know, they're not trying to just sell this here, but or you know, there's a lot of people in the United States that speak more than one language and stuff now, or not just English or whatever. But my point is if nothing else, they should have a QR code that you can scan and go get the file card information, because that personality of those characters made it 10 times more interesting for me.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Well, you could relate to him. You could relate to him. Like, Short Fuse was a hothead. And I'm like, well, that reminds me of my buddy. Or,
They used
you
to
know,
do that. The QR codes back in the day would go to the website, the Hasbro Pulse G.I. Joe page, and you could do that. That page went defunct, but they still keep producing the QR codes. And then recently, within the last year, they were doing those online file cards of the biographies of the figures, but now that's kind of gone by the wayside. So it's like they can't make up their mind. Do you want us to be fans? Or do you not want us to be fans? Do you want kids to get this? Do you want casual fans? Who do you want to buy this stuff? They just don't know.
Now, I did see they had released another file card just recently.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I'm actually looking for it right now.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of those square boxes, but if you've ever been in my shop and hear me talk about it, I'm not a fan of the Black Series boxes, the Marvel Legend boxes. I know apparently it's cheap for them to make it, but there's a lot of dead space in plastic, unused plastic and dead space in the boxes. And my
Guys,
thing is
I will
like,
be right back.
my thing is
Okay.
have it all on those cards like you used to, because there was a reason you had it that way in the past, and it worked really well. Plus, visually, it looks gorgeous. You can't beat the card art, especially that original art or those Star Wars photo cards.
I think these were really the best of the classified packages. These ones here with the photo art and the render and that, and the art on the side and the render in the back, and it had all the information with the QR code. I think this was really the best of all the packaging they've made thus far in the 5 years. If you ask in my opinion, but I know a lot of people didn't like that because you didn't know what you were getting in the box.
All my customers hated that.
Stolen.
I had people quit buying because of that.
Oh yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
because you don't know what you're getting.
There's two things about the box that I'm happy about. Like, now granted, I don't actually collect classified, but you know, it sits well on a shelf. Sure, that's an easy one. And it doesn't use any plastic, which obviously we're trying to get away from using more plastic in addition to the figure itself and the accessories and stuff. But man, like really, to the point that everybody's been making, it is nice to see the entire figure, all the accessories, really cool artwork next to it. Like you're maximizing your real estate that way.
Yeah,
Is what you're doing. Yeah, you have to use a little plastic bubble that ultimately gets thrown in the trash. Right. Like
I love
literally
these-
the ones that Terry and the one that Dave's holding up, both are perfect in my opinion. I
Yeah,
just
I
realized
think-
I'm the only one that doesn't have a partially fake name and a bunch of toys behind me. All my toys are literally right over there and over there.
I'm surprised you didn't turn your. Are you on your computer? You're on your computer.
Yeah, I'm on my desktop
Oh,
computer.
okay.
I've literally
I've seen that
entire
room.
desk.
The toy displays are amazing. So.
Yeah.
So the thing about the new retro wave, it's very weird how they're mixing and matching things. Like every one of those, to a certain extent, we've never gotten. So it's fine that we're getting all that, but I'm like, I wish they would pick a lane. You know, if you're gonna do retro, do it retro. If you're gonna do mainline, do it mainline. Don't throw in a new character, a new retro, a new mainline, all in retro packaging. It's
What's
just
up, Tony?
like throwing up the your hands and saying, screw it, whatever.
I
I
have
don't
never
disagree
understood.
with that.
I've never understood the logic between we're going to package this guy this way and we're going to package this other guy this other way. I remember not early on, but earlier, they would re-release some figures in the retro packaging, and now it's just like, hey, we're just going to do this one guy in the retro packaging because reasons, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Crazy Legs, I can kind of understand that because we've already gotten the Night Force Crazy Legs in a box. But what I don't understand is the cover girl that they put in the retro packaging is not. It's not a retro figure. It's a cartoon figure.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Everything that, like the Recondo, when they released Recondo, why did they do the Tiger Force Recondo as a main line, and Bazooka, the Tiger Force, they gave him a regular version, but they didn't do it with Recondo. They stuck him in the retro line. And the same thing goes with several other figures that shouldn't have been put into the retro line. I just don't get. And then several characters that are in the main line, like Torpedo, Shipwreck, and a handful of others, are basically retro. Why? I don't get it. It's like they don't care.
So there's this third-party Transformers company that makes transforming robots, and they're all based off of, I mean, I know most of the people here probably know this, but they're all based off of Transformers. The transformation's different. There's little things that are minorly different. I still don't know how they get away with it without getting sued, but I'm glad they do it. But that said, there's a company called X Transbots that will release a regular Masterpiece scale version, and then they'll release a tune version that has a lot more tune-based colors, a lot more simplified colors and stuff like that. To me, make the retro version the one that looks like the one that we had in the 80s or whatever, and then put the box version as the quote tune version, like simplify the look a little bit or something like that. Granted, I mean, G.I. Joe's kind of all over the place now because we've got the Super 7 stuff going on, which I actually dig the new Super 7 stuff. But
you talking about the O-rings?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
I didn't like the 5 points of articulation ones. They were too simple for me. But the new ones they've come out with, I've been happy with a couple of those that I've gotten.
Yeah, I was able to pick up that whole new wave with Once a Man Cobra Commander, Pythona, Falcon, and Jinx at Target in 2 trips. They had 2 of them on a Monday and 2 of them next Thursday.
Yeah, Show Z store. These are some of the figures that you're talking about here then?
Yep.
So like Gravedigger Scavenger.
Yeah. I think
those look good. Oh, wow. Those look really good.
Yeah. And it's like they toggle between the toy version and like a simplified tune version, but some of that stuff's incredible looking. Just not to whine about it, but with the economy being what it is, I just haven't been buying hardly any toys at all, especially $130 Masterpiece Transformers.
Right.
Trust me, we all know we've been getting nothing but messages. Hey, your package is being charged. Your package is being shipped. Your package is being delivered. Like it's been nonstop for like 2 months.
Yeah.
I like this Orion Pax. I think that looks really good.
Yeah, it's nice.
How much is it?
Very smooth looking figure.
Dan's like, well.
I'll be right back. I gotta grab an order or something.
$1 deposit?
Yeah, my guess it'll be $120. That tends to be like a sweet spot price point for a bot that size from them. There's several Transformer sites that I really like. Show Z is definitely one of them, and I like the Chosen Prime a lot. and I've used several others. Big Bad Toy Store has always been real nice to me. Dan, I would love to buy them at your shop, but I understand why you don't stock these things.
Man, I'd love to, but we can't get them. I mean,
Yeah.
it'd be impossible
Well,
to get them.
even then, like you buy 3 of these things and you might sit on 2 of them for 5 years.
Man, there
Yeah,
was,
I got one guy that I know would probably pick up every one of them. So that we're sitting on 2 then, but I don't know. It's it'd be nice if you could just order like a la carte,
Yeah.
Like I need 3, I need 2, I need 1. But I understand why they do it the way they do it.
Yeah.
see,
Terry, do you want to go into the name only drops? We got some interesting name onlys.
no, go ahead. Go ahead with the name only because I don't recall what they were.
Okay, so the name only one that was kind of leaked by Emily back. I think it was the PulseCon in June, PulseCon Yojo June event when they revealed the Sergeant Slaughter Mercer. She kind of leaked, oh yeah, we're going to be doing Taurus and Red Dog. I think
Yeah.
it's Red, whatever. And so they showed that render of the 2 of them, or name only leaked them and showed them. So we definitely, that's been officially revealed now. We are getting the 2 of them. And then she showed 3 other ones that are kind of a real weird mixed bag. And one of them, if you look at your divers or ketchup and mustard divers on the back, you could see almost him in the back corner, in the far corner of the package. And the photo photography in the back is the
Hydro Viper, yeah.
Hydro Viper. Exactly. And I was like, I think that's a Hydro Viper. But then people told me, no, that wasn't a Hydro Viper, but it looked certainly like one to me. And then we got his fins with wetsuit revealed at New York, at San Diego Comic-Con. So we're like, oh, that's Hydro Viper's fins. So he's coming. So we got that name only revealed. And then we got a couple of Dreadnoks. We got Zanya, Zartan's daughter, another creation of Josh Blaylock, major creation of him in G.I. Joe #1, I believe, of the Devil's Due era. And then we got...
I am really surprised that they did not release Heart Wrencher with the Dreadnought Ground Assault first.
I think we're going to get that eventually. It's just a matter of time. But then we got Ninja Force Zartan, which is, and a lot of people do not like that, but there is a hardcore group of people that do like it. So
Yeah,
it's weird.
I like it.
Well, I like it too, but there is a hardcore bunch of people that don't like it. So the very mixed bag of name only reveals during this event.
Didn't I see an image of Flash?
No, I shared something to Terry. There was a leak by Entertainment Earth where in the summer they revealed what the wave was going to be for the summer release, which was supposed to be Sci-Fi, Night Viper, I think Wetsuit and Flash. And so that was on their website. It's still on their website. So there is a Flash coming at some point, but they have not corrected that wave. It's supposed to be Sci-Fi, Wetsuit, Mainframe, and Grim Viper. So 2 of the figures were correct. 2 of them were not. We did get the Night Viper in the new wave. We pre-ordered a couple weeks ago, but Flash has not showed up yet. So that is obviously a figure that's in the pipeline, and it's coming at some point.
What's your all's bet on who the Energon Universe figure is going to be that I mentioned last week?
Oh, man.
I
Probably
hope it's Good Girl Baroness or Risk. Those are my
Carlos
2.
makes a good point here. With all the stingers in great supply, it might be a while before we see the Dreadnought Ground Assault. I think that if we see the Dreadnought Ground Assault, that it's probably going to be a Pulse exclusive.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Or maybe a Comic-Con exclusive for next year or something.
Yeah, something like that. Because I mean, these things, Walmart's dropped the price down on them, and I mean they're dime a dozen.
Are those classified stingers, I guess?
Yeah.
See, but that's the perfect example of what Hasbro does. You can't get the Vamp. It's hard to get it. It was on the website right up until the cutting off point, right last spring. And then they go way the hell over on the stingers. Like there's no middle ground. There's not enough Vamps and there's over stingers. It's
the
weird.
Vamp was a Pulse exclusive, but the Stinger was a fans channel exclusive that was through Amazon and independent sellers and stuff like that. it wasn't exclusive to Pulse. So
Yeah, we had the Stinger at the shop. We sold a lot of those.
yeah, I had a bunch of them. I sold all of them, and except for I think I kept 2, maybe.
Yeah, I have two on the Cobra shelf.
I never got that stupid O-ring, like 1/18 scale Stinger.
Dude, I had that. I had several of them and was selling them, and accidentally sold the one that I was going to keep. And now can't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
That was the Walmart exclusive 4-inch line that they were doing.
Yeah.
There.
Figures
guys-
is terrible.
Which talk about being all over the place. That was a weird one because now you got the Hasbro 375. It's modern construction. I don't know. Maybe they learned their lesson.
If they make those figures high quality and they do G.I. Joe in that 375 format, I would buy those.
Absolutely.
The figures look like they are very well put together. It's a nice design.
Yeah, I mean the face sculpts on those Tron figures are just outrageously good.
They did a
Yeah.
bunch of new promotional materials this week for that, so I'm guessing they're trying to push it because it must not be doing that well.
Real
It's only
quick,
got,
let's
like-
just look and see what we're at on it.
It was pretty low.
It was only like 200 and something units. It wasn't even like 1,000. It was really low.
Where
Oh,
What are you looking for?
The
I've
Hasbro
got
Pulse,
Hasbro Pulse.
HasLab, Tron.
Dana, what did you think of that? The Tron reveal they did.
I actually didn't see it.
Oh,
Well,
Yeah,
you're
sorry.
Dana. We'll take
damn
a
it,
look at
Dana!
I know, it's just embarrassing. Did any of you guys see the
We
Tron
can't take
movie?
you anywhere.
I know.
Yeah, I saw Tron Ares. I loved it. There's obviously some issues there, but I think it did what it was supposed to do, in my opinion. But that's just me. I've seen it 3 times now.
Yeah, see, I've seen several people say it was horrible, and then I've seen a handful of people say it was good. And I mean, honestly, I just don't believe most of what I see online anymore unless it's literally a friend, because how many of these are just chat bots that are just like, "Ugh, Jared Leto sucks," and they're just trying
Yeah.
to run the movie down.
Exactly.
Which, to
I
be
think you have
clear,
to
I
judge
do
for
think Jared
yourself.
Leto sucks. But
But here's
You
the
have
thing.
to judge for yourself. You really
right.
need to do it yourself. That's
But
when I
here's-
come to that conclusion.
Here's the thing, though. People talk and numbers scream, and the numbers are not good for it.
It's
this
the
thing has
minority.
moved
It's the
since
vocal
we looked at it last
minority.
week.
It's the vocal minority, Dan. It always has done that to any cool thing that we love. The vocal minority.
No.
And do social media.
Yeah, I understand all that. I'm talking about people talk, numbers scream. It doesn't matter what people say. It matters how it produces,
Well,
and it's not
worldwide,
producing.
right now, worldwide, it's about 136 million. I think
Yeah,
it was
it's-
what, 265 or something that it
Like,
costs to make.
As
there's
as
still
much
a
as
way.
I liked the new Superman movie, is now technically been defined a bomb because it's
Really?
not broke even.
The new Superman movie.
Yes, it's not broke even.
they've already
Yeah,
done
it's-
the
which-
second one,
which-
so I think they're okay.
Which upset me because I like the movie and I'd like to see more of it. And I guess depending on who owns Warner Brothers in the near future, we may see more of it or we may see something rebooted. But yeah, people talk and numbers scream. You got to look at the results, not what chatbots and jaded fans are talking about. Because like
Right.
if you go to some of the, no offense, but if you go to some of the GI Joe Facebook groups,
Whoa.
it makes you wonder why you even like GI Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so to that
It's
point,
crazy.
to that point, like when and going back a couple of minutes, when the Walmart exclusive figures came out, the retro figures came out that weren't retro, the 4-inch ones during COVID, when everything was a mess anyway and supply chain was not great.
Abysmal.
I bought several of those things. I love the Hiss tanks. I don't have one problem at all with those Hiss tanks. But my worry about that sort of rubbery plastic that we got out of those is back in the 90s, McFarlane was making some of his toys out of stuff that was similar. I don't know if it was the same thing or not, but I can tell you, like that Interlink 6 that he came out with, I thought that thing was a big jangly mess that looked really cool. It can't stand on its own. It came with a stand. So I had that thing when we lived in West Virginia, and once we finished this basement, I got it out, and I was putting it together, and just, oh crap, that piece just broke, and I literally abandoned putting the thing together because so many pieces started breaking off, and I am very gentle with my toys.
So that makes me wonder if something similar isn't going to happen with these figures as what happened with
Right.
the Super Joe line.
Yeah, I'm really
Seems
worried
to
that that's
know.
going to happen, and you know, a lot of things that we really like are being made out of that stuff too.
Yeah.
Well, there's a huge difference in quality, I think, with those Walmart GI Joes, those exclusives.
Mhm.
Yes.
And like the 13th or the 25th anniversary to POC, the 50th or whatever 40th anniversary, whatever it was that we were getting all the way up to 2015. Like those figures are solid, but those Walmart ones just look like kids' toys.
Yeah,
I mean,
And I
those are
don't mean
gorgeous
like,
figures.
and I mean,
But
and I'm
I'm
not
saying-
trying to. I keep saying every week like you should make stuff for kids, but I'm talking about like cheap kids' toys you'd find at like Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, not like this is something that Target or Walmart, or if there was a Toys R Us or Child's World or whatever would sell. But yeah, those they look, Dana, they're rubbery and they just look off.
well, the Fang pilot, when I took that figure out of the package, his arm literally tore off.
I remember you telling me, we might have been talking when
Yeah,
that
didn't you have like a little pin that you plug in? Because I think
Yeah.
mine did the same. One of mine did that where like I couldn't get the arm to stay in. Every
Well,
time
no,
I had him.
that post came off and was stuck inside the socket. And like I didn't do anything other than just
Wow.
move it, and it tore apart. And I guess other people had the same problem.
I will say I had a 50th Viper that I
What's
was
up,
putting on
Mark?
the shelf over there, and I literally just went to turn his head and just and broke off, and I was like, no, because that 50th Viper is hands down the coolest looking Viper in the world to me.
Battle
Yeah.
Damage Viper.
Yeah, the headless Viper. I mean, that's a
Just
little.
in time for Halloween.
So I just like gingerly set it back on top, and I'm like, this sucks. So I have several of them. So I'm
Put some
terribly
honey in
busted
it.
up about it, but at the same time, it might happen again. And I hate buying that line used because inevitably they have 96 accessories and there's always one missing.
Maybe
I
Super
heard,
7 won't have the license, and maybe you know what?
Haya's doing good.
I've heard that
Oh,
Haya
yeah.
is going to be available here. That they've got a new distributor,
Ooh.
Entertainment Earth Distribution. I got an email from them stating that Haya Toys was now moving to them for distribution because of the loss of Diamond Distributors.
I
That
thought
doesn't make
with-
sense. I never got a Haya figure once from Diamond. I never saw any in Diamond.
That's who was supposed to carry the GI Joe line, was the Diamond Distributors.
Oh, we got tons of Haya figures from Diamond. Predator, Aliens.
Oh well, I'm talking
Uh,
G.I. Joe.
Yeah, I thought that
Oh,
they
no,
weren't
yeah,
allowed to sell
there's-
the Joe ones in the States, though. I thought that was something with their contract. I might be
Yeah,
wrong.
they could-
Yeah, no, I thought I heard the same thing, but I mean, there's
yeah,
no.
it's some weird thing like you could only get it internationally. You couldn't get it domestically.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I got the Baroness and the Major Blood recently because I never liked Major Blood's stiff Star Wars arm. That always drove me crazy, and that's the only version I ever had of him was version 1. So I literally just got the Haya one like 3 or 4 months ago, and I got the Baroness at the same time. And I love the fact that the Baroness has the different colored hair as it goes down further.
Yeah.
Because my wife had hair like that when I met her too. So like I like both of those figures a lot. But again, same thing with the plastic. Is that rubbery plastic going to hold up? I mean, you know, assuming we're all alive 30 years down the road, we're going to figure it out. But
It might stick to the wall. There's literally old school turtle figures you can just throw and they stick to the wall.
have you ever had like any electronics, like literally a cable or anything, and the rubbery gets really tacky?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm really worried that that's going to happen because I don't know what causes that. I've got a space heater that's meant for like a workshop out in my garage, and the knobs on it are a rubbery type thing. And dude, when you touch them, it sucks. Like, and they're covered in sawdust, but the sawdust is still not enough to keep it from getting that gummy crap on
Oh.
your fingertips.
Well, remember a while back, and I just saw Toy Federation had a video where they were buying in some toys, and they had the or that like almost like that mist gets on the figures, like the DC Universe Classics, the Nightwing, the Green Lantern, those were notorious. Like the black on their costumes would have this white film, and like
Yeah, it's something leaching out of the plastic.
yeah, you'd wipe it off and then it's right back. It was gross.
Meanwhile, we're all going to have cancer in 5 years. Totally unrelated.
Yeah, totally unrelated.
You guys all have
I guess
Nightwing
the
cancer.
Universe figures do something like that too. I've seen some that have like this. It's like mold or something that's growing in the plastic.
Ugh. Yay.
You have men on card figures that are all gross looking.
Yeah.
Dana, do you subscribe to the Skybound Universe comics universe?
Yeah. I've been reading those. Those are a lot of fun.
There's a
Finally
lot of
got to
fun-
read G.I. Joe 12, and they made me really like Shooter.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
See, I was trying to get you to understand that last week when we were talking because that I didn't want to spoil it for you, but wasn't that an awesome story?
Oh my gosh. The whole. Everybody's read it, right? I don't want to.
Hold on.
No, I
can't
have
remember
not read it, but I have it pulled up right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't read number 12. I had to look on my hard drive and see which one I read last. I literally have to keep track of stuff that way because I can't friggin' remember.
Well, there was a lot of new information that just came out this week. Obviously, we talked about the animated series, but there's the Dreadnought War has heated up, and Roblox's going to appear in, I think, issue 18, and he's going to be part of Night Force. So he'll be joining Shooter in that squad. Then they're doing another Larry Hama issue. This is the third Larry Hama issue. They did a Joe Colton one. I think it was 140 something, 143 or 44 or whatever. And now they're doing issue 40. Issue 49 with the first appearance of Serpentor as a Larry Hama retro issue with that. And then there's the Dreadnought War with Roblox. They end up in space somehow. And there's a whole story in space. So it is heating up. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in G.I. Joe Skybound.
That right there I thought was awesome. The exchange between General or Colonel Hawk and or is he Colonel or General? I can't remember in this one.
He's Colonel. At this point, I think he's Colonel.
Yeah, he's
Between Hawk and Duke. I thought that was a really good conversation. And he's like, there's some things you don't need to know about, son, or whatever, but you'll know about them when you need to. And how Duke was kind of like, I want to get back on track with tracking the robots down. Meanwhile, you got General Flag, if that's General Flag, making deals with Optimus Prime, which I thought was amazing.
So I appreciate the fact that they've still continued on the storyline in the G.I. Joe run, and then they've started this Energon universe that's Transformers and G.I. Joe simultaneously. And then Void Rivals is in there too, which is an entirely new thing for anybody that's not read it. My guess is everybody that's watching this probably has. But I, like so many of our buddies, I tend to be like, ugh, change is awful, you know?
Right.
But at the same time, like, I really like the approach they're taking with the Energon universe because they're not doing a disservice to these characters. I think they're actually being thoughtful about it, you know?
Yeah, I think so too, man.
Like
The way that Joshua Williamson was talking about it, the writer of G.I. Joe, Duke, and Cobra Commander, he was, and I'm excited because he's going to be writing a new Iron Man book that comes out in January. So I can finally read Iron Man again. I can read Cap again now. I can read Batman again now, and now I'll be able to read Iron Man. Now they can just get Thor and the Avengers fixed. I'll be happy. But Joshua Williams was saying basically, and I think Kirkman had said this too at some point, that it's the characters you know. They're just in this new setting.
yeah.
You know, so like Doc's going to be Doc. Duke's going to be Duke. Cobra Commander's going to be Cobra Commander. But we're now looking at him in a new light. Fresh coat of paint sort of thing. And I think that's brilliant. Like when IDW first got the G.I. Joe license, not doing the Hama stuff, just doing I call it the Chuck Dixon stuff, because that's who started writing it. I thought it was cool how they did it where like G.I. Joe, like to join G.I. Joe, Dana White dies in a car crash, and now Dana's a code name. And then if Terry somehow knows Dana's code name, you both disappear. Like that's how secret the group is. And then like Cobra had like all this history and layers and layers. It started out really good, but then they just totally destroyed it. And they had that goofy writer that made the 9/11 comment that made what's his name, the might
Sutterson?
the might is right shirt. It made it a 400
Salvo.
pound Samoan woman. Salvo, yeah, and just to piss off the fans, and just like they're fighting bugs, and it was so stupid. So like Quick Kick was like
Yeah.
killed Snake Eyes or something stupid. I mean, it was just like so offensive and had nothing to do with anything. Like he said, GI Joe was a socialist army, and it's like, what are you talking about, man? Just tell stories. You've
Yeah.
got a blueprint, and it lost so many people. And it started out so great, and they just killed it. And then same thing with the Transformers. They kind of went a similar route, not as offensive as Aubrey Sitterson or Shitterson as he should be named did.
Yeah.
But the so far Skybound's done a great job.
Yeah.
Like that's the Duke I know. That is the Hawk that I know. That is the Flint that I know. That is the only character I'd say that I think they kind of messed up was Scarlet. I think they had the wrong writer on the book. It wasn't an awful series, but like that wasn't the Scarlet I know.
Yeah.
Scarlet I know, I mean, wrapped Storm Shadow on the head with a chain and escaped. In issue 21. She had a bobby pin picking her lock. She's led the Joe team on
Well,
multiple missions.
The thing about those miniseries is they all take place in different periods of time if you really read them
Right.
closely. So we don't know where that Scarlet miniseries is because obviously it's got Storm Shadow, it's got Jinx, it's got a bunch of stuff that we haven't seen yet. So there could be a different Scarlet that's actually going to be in the primary series, and that may lead to that Scarlet down the road. The same with Destro. That Destro miniseries is before the G.I. Joe series because it shows Dark Lawn and all this stuff, his origin. So all those miniseries are all in different time frames. So we can't necessarily pinpoint that Scarlet's going to be the regular Scarlet.
Well, actually, according to the writers and the editor, they all take place right before the G.I. Joe series takes off. The only one that's a little different on time is Cobra Commander. Like the way it starts and the way it ends. It obviously starts probably before the Duke miniseries, even though the Duke book came out first. But the last issue of Cobra Commander is after Duke because Destro has dealt with Duke, Destro series, and then you lead to the Destro series. Yeah, they're supposed to happen like right before G.I. Joe #1.
So the handling of rock and roll, I don't have a problem with it because it showed that nobody's invincible.
Well, poor Bumblebee.
Yeah.
He got
I don't
murked
think
like in
rock
issue
and roll
1.
is dead.
Yeah.
I don't think rock and roll is dead. I think he's going to pop up someplace in a prison or whatever.
I don't know, David. They just killed MTV, so that might be it for rock and roll. I'm
MTV's
not
been
sure.
dead for a long time.
Yeah.
It hasn't been
MTV actually was.
hasn't been MTV for 25 years.
Let's
That's
be
true.
honest. MTV has been dead more than it's been alive in its whole run.
Isn't that a shame?
It was the coolest thing ever when it first started. Then
my
they were just like,
gosh.
never mind.
Yeah.
I just remember, they'd have the top 10 countdown or whatever, Headbangers Ball, Yo MTV Raps. They had some cool game shows. The MTV Music Awards. I'm a big New Edition fan, and I'll never forget they had one where Arsenio hosted it, and he looked like a character out of Batman. The outfit he had on, but like it's like when Belle Biv DeVoe was that summer they were super hot. They all came out and performed their individual songs. And then they all came out and did New Edition songs. And it was just like, that was on MTV. And I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Or you'd have I think it was one of the MTV Music Awards where David Lee Roth was with Van Halen. And they said, we should get back together. I'm like, well, we are, or something. I don't know. It lasted like 3 days, but because they overtook, I think Beck was getting an award or something. And it kind of overshadowed, like David Lee Roth and Van Halen joining forces kind of overshadowed this guy that just won an award. Which I'm like, who cares? That's David Lee Roth and Van Halen, But there's been some, and it just like when you turn it on, it's like 16 and pregnant. It's like, what is this?
It became like reality TV, and that was pretty much it.
And it's like, well, we have VH1. That's kind of like the MTV for adults, right? Or like retro or whatever.
Well, they had
and then that became
played music videos.
Yeah, that went out they threw that out too.
Forgot about
Yeah. It's like, well, maybe I'll jump over to BET and watch some hip hop and R&B. And nope, that's it changed too. It's like just anybody play music videos, except on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, like you're not going to discover things. To be fair, the world is totally different now. You're not going to discover things like on TV as much these days. Most of the bands I hear about are from friends and message boards, Discord channels, and everything now. And yeah, we're also not the target demo anymore.
No, we're not,
because we're not typically the guys that are going out to see a show as much as we would have 20 years ago.
Terry, do you have some updates on your project you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, but before we get into that, let's talk about the Energon animated series.
Oh, okay. We're gonna go back to that.
Yeah.
We talked about it backstage. We weren't live when we were talking about it.
I'm excited about it. I hope I'm hoping it's going to be gritty like Resolute was. I hope it's not over the top though. It doesn't need to be like raunchy,
No, I think it'll go along with the comic.
Yeah, that's
going to be adult. It is going to be adult. They've put that in all the press releases. It will be adult. It will be mature.
Joe Henderson as a showrunner hitting TV Marketplace.
Now, he did several shows. He did a Lucifer, and he's done a few other things. He's very good. He's done a very good job. So I think that's a good name to have on this because he's got a pedigree. He's got some background that he's had success and stuff like that. So I think that's good.
Lucifer was or is, I guess it's still running. It was a wildly popular show.
No, it ended. It had 6 seasons. Last season was on Netflix. The last 2 seasons were on Netflix, so that has ended.
So Invincible got renewed for season 5 for season 4 premiere. Let's see. Went on to create a cohesive shared universe. Transformers and G.I. Joe coexist together along with IP Void Rivals.
I tell you one thing I think it's going to do. I think it's going to make the comic book sell even more, and they're selling really well. Because I'm so glad I order all the reprints because Robert Kirkman has this really great thing that he says you should always be able to get the first book. That's why he keeps all his properties. You can get volume 1 of the trade paperback or hardcover. It's always available, which is smart because Marvel and DC aren't smart like that.
No,
you could come in my shop and be, hey, order me Stan Lee and Steve Ditko's Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1 and be like, yeah, good luck with that. Or how about
here? Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Void Rivals all setting sale records and Transformers winning 2 Edgar Awards in 2024.
Yep. Daniel Warren Johnson, we just talked about, he got the 2 Eisners during San Diego Comic-Con as well. That Transformers is incredible.
Oh my gosh, the way that his run ended was just spot on. And again, I think this is just going to make the book sell even more. And because I have people come in.
Do it? How do you think they're going to lay this all up? Because you got all these 3 different, they're all in the same universe, but they all really have separate storylines, and they're all doing different things. How do they?
I think if you have about a 40-minute show, maybe 40 minutes, I don't know what the time frame would be on it. You kind of start with Void Rivals. You start with that very first story arc.
Yeah.
Because you got to start there with Jetfire being awake and going and starting the war. And then when that gets going, then you can dip in on Cobra Commander, and Cobra Law. Then you can dip in on Duke. I think you can kind of just go back and forth on things. And I think it's compelling enough that, you could do, maybe you got a couple episodes, it's like Duke centric. You got a couple episodes Cobra Commander. And with the Dreadnoks, you got a couple episodes we're up in space with Void Rivals. I mean, I don't know. I'm excited to see it. I hope that, and I think it's fun because we already know what's going to happen. We're reading the books, but now it's like when I saw Iron Man the movie. I know who Iron Man is. I know his origin. Now I want them to tell me who he is on this platform, and it's great. And so same thing with Void Rivals. Show me who these are on this platform. But I think, in addition to that, I think it's going to shoot the comic books up. One, sales. 2, their value, and then 3. I think that this will tie into an Energon toy line. Like I said last week, we are getting a Energon universe character, and I think it's going to be Risk or Good Girl Baroness, which, I mean, there's not really a Good Girl Baroness. It's Bad Girl Baroness. Baroness is a bad girl, but in a good girl outfit which makes it even better. Anyway, and then we're getting something called like Rugged Duke, which so I think it's going to be Duke from the miniseries.
With the
You know,
beard.
yeah,
Just
the
shovels.
longer hair, shirt untucked, and I'm
Yeah.
like, just imagine if we start to pivot. We can still do G.I. Joe Classified, but imagine if we start in the stuff that we like. But now imagine if we pivot to like Energon Universe toys.
So if
It
they
might
do
be-
Energon Universe, it might be in the O-ring format, like the 2 Void Rivals figures that they put out.
You know,
That or this Modern Sculpts 375 stuff.
Yeah.
Oh crap! I'm glad I said because I forgot what I was going to say. I am looking forward to this happening. I hope that they're smart about how they run the show. Like they could always do, to your point, how they're going to handle the episodes and stuff. They could always do it a main plot line with a B plot line underneath, and we're kind of toggling back and forth between the two. And if they keep the show long enough, because you don't want to make a 20-minute episode out of these. That's just too quick,
too fast.
But you also want to make it palatable for everybody watching it. It's obviously not necessarily going to be for kids, so we're not going to worry about a kid attention span. But at the same time, it's where is this going to be available to us to watch?
Don't know yet.
How well is it going to be marketed? How well are these toys going to be marketed? Because toy shelves are a nightmare anymore.
Oh.
Right.
And like while a lot of us are lucky enough to be able to go to toy shows and then like places like Dan's comic shop and stuff like that.
Thank you, Dana.
You're welcome. But I mean it, it's like not everybody has that available to them. And if you're just going to Walmart is a freaking crapshoot. And
it is.
I'm being nice about it, but
well, here's real quick.
Want something that's going to be there? Good luck. You may never see it.
Real quick, and this is what.
Unless you're a Transformers fan, excuse me, Dan, just one sec. Unless you're a Transformers fan, they glut those aisles with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Transformers. You can find anything pretty much.
Here's the thing that has me really excited about it too, because when this stuff started coming back out in comics, we had the year hiatus. There's no G.I. Joe or Transformers comic, and when it started hitting, I had people. It brought the boys to the yard, let's just say, because I had people coming in that didn't even know there was a Devil's Due or an IDW run of G.I. Joe, and then an IDW run of Transformers. And then I had people that knew there was, and they came back too. And it's just think about the people that have not come back to get into toys or comics are now watching the show. Think about how popular Invincible is. Now, Invincible's are relatively, in the last 20 years. G.I. Joe and Transformers stretched 40 years. So you got guys our age that are like, you know what? Oh man, that's Optimus Prime. I want to check this out. Oh, this is awesome. Like it's got such a bigger reach. And when they do the show right, man, it's going to be so huge for everybody. Hasbro, toy shops, comics, whatever. Because it's just going to bring a lot of people to it. Because, and they're like, oh, this is the same guy that did Invincible and Walking Dead. Yeah, I'm down. I'm down. And man, I on a little side note, we were watching some John Carpenter stuff the other day, and I was explaining some stuff about him to my wife, and I brought up the thing about the Energon Universe. It was I think the day that the news had broke, and I was like, "Isn't it crazy?" Well, David and Terry, you don't live in Kentucky, but Dana, you live here. We have John Carpenter and Robert Kirkman from Kentucky, and you would never know that. Right. John Carpenter did the Star Wars of horror movies, Halloween. Like changed the game, and it's like there's no celebration of this man. And now you got Robert Kirkman, #1 show for 10 years, Walking Dead, #1 animated show, Invincible, soon to be #1 in everything Energon Universe show. Not a peep. And it's like, man, and then we also got George Clooney, Johnny Depp, and a whole lot of others that are from here too that you just don't say anything about it.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you'd think all we are is bourbon and basketball, and they run some horses on one day a year. Yeah. And it's like, if I was this might be my campaign pitch to be governor. Okay, I'm in the none of the above party, like in Brewster's Million. In Kentucky, come to Kentucky for the hotbed of creativity.
Dan, don't they have some gold there as well?
Supposedly we have the United States Gold Reserve, one of the deposits of it at Fort Knox. Now it's unclear if there's still gold there. There's something going on there though. because I
A
had
lot of training going on there, but that's
yeah,
all I
it's
know.
it's an it's been upgraded to like an active base. Like it was kind of like a
It's aliens.
different. Who knows?
I hope so.
I actually saw a really interesting clip on the Sean Ryan show. I don't know if it's a new episode or what, and they were talking about I don't know who the guy was he was talking to. It was just like this really long clip, and I couldn't stop watching it. And they were talking about how in Ethiopia there was this explorer, and he met these Ethiopian Jews, and they had the Bible, and they said, "Is that your version of the Bible?" And they're like, "No, this is the Bible." And they had the Book of Enoch, the Book of the Giants,
Oh
all this
yeah,
stuff.
I've seen that.
Yeah, and it's like, and he said this guy was going over this stuff because they're talking about the Smithsonian. It supposedly had giant bones, and they hide them. And then they're like, "Well, here it shows you received these," and they're like, "Oh yeah, but they're in a warehouse that has asbestos, and nobody can touch it for 10 years, so you can't look in there." It's weird, but like the guy was talking about how like every culture, because this guy studies this stuff, whoever this guy was, and I'm gonna after the show and probably gonna do some eBay, which is a really fun afternoon, and I'm gonna listen to this in the background. But he was talking about how if you have three cultures that have like a similar story, like giants or a flood, that's one thing. It's coincidental. But when you have 300 cultures that all reference giants and and a massive flood all around the same time, he's like, I'm sorry, I don't know why I veered off into that. Because you said somebody said aliens. That's why.
Oh,
Because you
Right.
there was
said
a
the whole.
point. There was a point where I was like, "This is really interesting," but I don't remember how we got here.
Yeah, I was thinking like I don't remember it either.
But
Can I
the good
address
thing
this
about that
by-
is the archaeology aspect kind of ties into Ark.
The Ark.
So
Oh,
before
look
we
at
get into
that.
Ark, Slow Road, the Optimus Mobat. Yeah, I don't know what happened with any of that. They just kind
Can
of
I address that real fast? Can I address that commenter real
Yeah.
fast?
Just make it
So
Warpath.
the situation with the Optimus Mobat is Transformer collabs. They take a long time. Typically, there's only been one a year, and we got the Hasbro Energon Universe Skyfire with Celia and Jarek this summer.
It's
So I'm
Jetfire.
guessing Skyfire, Jetfire,
Jetfire.
Skyfire. I don't know. Depends on who you ask, I guess.
Y'all have that Skyfire.
We're probably going to get that. It'll probably be next year. It's just they take a long time to make those collabs because that's a lot of engineering to make a G.I. Joe vehicle.
What about
into a
this, though?
Transformer? Huh?
What about this? What if they put it on hold because they're going to do Energon toys?
I don't think so.
Hope
I
that
don't
would
think
be
so.
awesome.
And what scale would you want them? Would you want them to be 4-inch and maybe the Transformers are 8-inch?
3 3/4, just like we've already got.
Yeah.
Don't make
It's
another
not-
scale.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care if they can fit inside them or not. I just like the idea.
I do.
I do.
Well,
Very much do.
they're going to be really
I-
big then.
I wouldn't mind once in my life to have one dang actual transformer that transformed in a good way that was 1/18th scale. That'd make me real happy. Lewin Resources made a giant Optimus Prime, but it wasn't 1/18th scale. It was just I don't really know how they chose the scale. The thing was huge, but I considered buying that for just a minute, and then I found out it was just a little out of scale. I think it was too big. But yeah, like if they do the Energon Universe stuff, you know that they're not going to make huge Transformers, but I don't think it would be bad if they did one every now and then, you know?
I just thought of something. What if because the Transformers, they use that kind of PIM particle thing with the the mass displacement. That's why the Megatron can turn into a little gun and then grow up to be a giant robot. So what if you had 4-inch Joes, and then let's say you had, I don't know, 8-inch, all the Transformers are like 8-inch, Optimus would be 10 inches, Megatron would be 10 inches. So it'd be scaled to the humans. But then,
Yeah, maybe.
but hold on, but then you get a vehicle, and the vehicle is Optimus Prime as a trailer that you can fit your Joes in. He doesn't transform. He's just Optimus as the truck and the trailer, and then the trailer can open up with accessories. You can drive the Ram cycle in there or the Vamp or something, and that would be kind of neat.
I still wouldn't
know?
be mad at that, I mean, it's if you're just because as adults, we typically aren't really doing a lot of fooling around with the toys as much. We're displaying them. If you're a kid
I see a
You're
lot of
already-
room behind you where you could get a lot of action going on down there.
Yeah, I could.
Battlefields.
But as a kid, you pretend a lot, so you can easily pretend that you've got this giant one that transforms into this other one over here, and it's a big deal. Like,
Yeah.
I do like the act of physically transforming him. Any transformer I buy, I will transform him at least once, or her at least once. But typically it's such a headache with Masterpiece Transformers. I'm only doing it once because I don't feel like doing it twice. But like I think that would be an acceptable alternative to that. Now
Well-
that said, I also wouldn't mind if they did normal chug scale Transformers that were 5-7 inches, whatever, if they would come with smaller versions of the humans.
That would be cool. And if you think back to the Transformers Red series, that really didn't take off because they had it at Walmart only, and they had just a weird selection of characters. You could almost revisit that, but scale them up a little bit more, so the figure doesn't transform. But then you still do your Transformers. Like, oh, I just want to do Transformers. So you buy your Transformers to transform, or you can get the Energon universe, where you have 8-inch Jazz. And he doesn't transform; he's just a figure. But like we were saying, you can get the car, and then that could lead into Mask. If you think about it, if they wanted to do Mask, because Mask is going to be involved in this,
I literally
you could then
did
have
collect Mask as a
4-inch
kid 'cause
Mask
the scale
figures,
was
and then
off.
put them in those cars, and then it wouldn't be any big engineering feat. Well, I'm not an engineer, so maybe I don't know. But like if you had Jazz as a 1/18 scale vehicle that your figure fits in, that then now you can add wings or do this, or it can kind of transform a little bit, and then you got Mask. I mean, it's just there's a whole man. It's exciting. I mean, the what ifs. I mean, probably none of that'll happen because it's Hasbro. But
Well, here's the thing, though. Speaking of the engineering, we have had so many different versions of these characters over the years, designed by presumably Hasbro. It wouldn't be hard for them to go, let's just make it bigger, fellas. Like they know how the transformation works, and if you make it bigger, you could maybe even make the I keep wanting to say transformation less fiddly, even though the Hasbro versions typically aren't that fiddly anyway.
Right.
And you just boop, 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 you're done. Now, I don't want them to look like G1 because that's just too simple. I don't like that, but that's what I grew up with, but I don't want to go back to that. But at the same time, when they are bigger, you could easily make them subtly more fiddly and make them look more realistic too, instead of being so stiff armed and all that.
Yeah, like I really enjoy the War for Cybertron series of
Yeah.
figures.
It was great.
To me, those are great. And I've gotten rid of most of what I had, but I kept all of the Netflix figures and some of the others. But
Terry also likes Valor versus Venom, but we're not.
yes, I do like Valor.
Judge Freeze on there.
Do I need to show a couple of them? No.
I can see them behind you, I
personally
think.
I'm still mainly an 86 Transformer collector, unless I get collabs or I get oddball things here and there, like the Energon San Diego. But yeah, I like 86. That's just my thing. But I know there are other different scales and other different groups, and people like all different stuff. But it's tricky. It's going to be tricky.
I just think it's so great that two properties we really love, G.I. Joe and Transformers,
Are coming together.
that were done so well so long ago. We won't say how long ago because we don't need to date ourselves any more than we already have.
Again,
like,
it might
Because
be
speaking of archaeology, but we're all going to get carbon dated here in a minute. But they did it so well that it lasted. So like I argued with a friend of mine that Transformers 1 trailer I thought was horrible. Now I hear that movie is good. I still haven't seen it. And he goes, well, they're making it for kids. And I'm like, dude, the stuff we grew up was made for kids. We were kids.
Transformers
and they did it
the Transformers 1 animated feature film, I love it. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, everybody
It was
says it's really
actually
good,
really
but the
good.
trailer was terrible and it bombed. But
the trailer made it look like a kiddie thing, and it
yeah,
actually was.
And my friend was like, well, they're making it for kids. And I'm like, dude, the stuff we grew up with was made for kids.
Well,
but
it's
they did
because
it
they're
right.
Selling toys at Walmart. That entire aisle was full of Transformers. I showed you that huge display that they had, and they said, make sure your store puts out this display. We need it to be successful. It's because they're selling this stuff to toy children. That's why it wasn't successful, because children aren't buying this stuff.
I don't know if that has to do with the people going to the movie theater, but my thing is
The
that they did it. They
correlation
made it for
between
kids
the
back
two.
in the '80s, and it was made so well that we're still talking about it 40 years later. And it makes me happy that it's relevant, and that you've got someone like a Robert Kirkman that's spearheading these two very special properties that to me are as just as important or special as the Avengers or
You know,
X-Men
Dan,
stuff.
you know what's funny though? The exact same thing happened in 1986 that happened with Transformers 1. The exact same thing. The toy line was successful. It was doing very well. The kids were supposed to go see Transformers the movie. Guess what? They didn't go see it. It failed, and it was
They
not
killed Optimus
They
Prime.
killed Optimus
Yeah,
Prime.
I think you're missing what I'm saying though. That we're still talking about it 40 years later. No one's going to talk about Transformers 1 40 years later. They're going to be talking about the stuff we're talking about 80 years from now. That this stuff, they Optimus Prime, Megatron, Duke, Cobra Commander, they hit a grand slam with all this stuff. Now, yeah, some of the episodes are silly or dated or hard to watch, but we're still talking about it. Still talking about the comics, still talking about the toys, still talking about those memories. And I just love it that we're in a spot right now where somebody so creative and influential like Robert Kirkman has been crushing it with the comics. Like we sell more Transformer comics than we do Spider-Man comics, and we
Dang.
sell and more Batman comics. Now that might
feels
change.
way off from what I was doing. So I didn't give Dana a proper introduction, and that was for a reason. But Dana, Mr. Dana White, is actually working on the ARC project with us. Dana's doing our color and lettering.
Yeah.
So
That was a very abrupt segue, but I can see why you did it, because we could keep going the other direction. And I kept reading all of Carlos's comments, and I was like, we should talk about what Carlos is saying.
I was trying to bring it back around.
Yeah.
But yeah, the archaeology aspect plays into ARC because that's a big factor in all of the stories that we're setting up for ARC. And we have Dana's working on the 3 sample pages, did the color for the cover. There's a couple things that we decided to change with that. We may also do another alternate cover for that. And yeah, we'll have more stuff for that to share on the Facebook page or in the Facebook group. It's an open group. But we are hoping to have the preview done and put together sometime within the next 4 weeks, and start off with digital distribution for that, and then move to physical distribution at some toy shows. Like, you guys are both in Kentucky. David, are you coming up to the Kentuckiana show?
Not the January one, probably not. I will probably be at the July one again. But yeah.
Yeah, Terry,
Okay.
tell everybody what the Facebook group is.
Actually, I'm going to put it in the comments. It is
oh, excuse me. Sorry. You showed some color pages on there the other day. I thought they looked fantastic.
Yeah, the guy that is the artist is really good too. Like I'm really enjoying the stuff he's put together.
I practiced saying his name multiple times before sending him a voice clip of his name, and he said that was extremely close. Elizu Uvea.
And he did your graphic novels, right?
Yeah, he did. Dan? He did both of mine, and we're working on the third one too.
Nice.
Yeah, we have a.
That's called, Dan. That's what you do.
Dominus.
Right
Dana, what is your background? What is your background, Dana White, in coloring and lettering? Where did you get your start?
This is the first book I've done this on, but so here's the quick version.
Why?
Yeah. So the quick version of how I got into anything like this anyway is literally in high school. I started doing flyers for punk and metal bands, and that evolved into me doing like design work for a bunch of people and stuff like that. And then slowly but surely, I just started doing more stuff like that and ended up getting a job. And the reason we moved to Louisville is I got a job working on a team doing Photoshop work all day, which I was already good at Photoshop. And now I'm just better at it than I was, 10 years ago when I started here or there.
So
And
me, color and lettering and comics, but Dana does graphic design work
yes.
for a living. He does this professionally,
Mhm.
and he's local. So one of the things that I wanted for this project was for the people involved to be a very small group, to be people that I knew, and to be people that could come together physically in person for toy shows and some presentations and stuff like that. People that I know that have a passion for this genre of stuff. So that's, and I'm not like, I'm by no means any kind of a professional when it comes to like doing any of the story writing or anything like that. Dan, you and I talked about this early on about you've already done this a couple of times. You're working on doing it a third time. I can hand you a story and you can expand it and put it into the correct format that we need for the book. And Dana, you and I have been working together for several years on some graphic stuff, some
Yeah.
different things that I've done over the years with like the card backs that you see hanging behind me. This is all Dana. So it was
And
I'd
like to throw in that I think Dana is a really fine person. Whenever he comes in my shop, anytime we talk, and whether it's at the convention, my shop, on the phone, we have the best conversations. And he is just a class act and a very nice gentleman. And sometimes he gets in trouble because we talk too long in my shop.
that's easy to do with all of us.
What's funny
It's
about
true.
you saying that
Yes.
is I told our son that I was thinking about running by your shop, and then I was going to message you and be like, "Hey, are you working at the shop today?" Because I didn't think you normally worked on Sundays. But
We're
then,
closed on Sundays.
okay, I didn't even know. Yeah, because I live like 30 minutes away from the shop, so that's why I'm hardly ever up there. I mean, I know you know that, but I'm saying that for anybody that's watching this. But yeah, our son was just like, "You're going to be in there forever if you go by there, though."
Yeah, the last time that I went in there, I had my wife, my little girl, and our brand new son when we went in, and he started to get a little bit. He was ready to go. So
Yeah.
but yeah, that's the introduction for Dana and a little bit of background on all of us. Like we've all known each other for a decent amount of time now.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's the type of group that I prefer to have involved in things like this, except for Elizu. He can't be here with us in person, but he seems to be right along the same lines as us. And Dan, you've worked with him, twice before on.
Yeah, Zoo's a really great guy. Just call him Zoo.
Yeah,
I've butchered his name for years. I'm surprised he still works with me. But
Dude, I'm the dumbest white guy in the world when it comes to pronouncing names that are any different than, John.
what's like,
I had asked him to come on and talk about some of the artwork, but he said my accent is so strong that you're not going to want to have me on your stream.
Aw.
I'd probably be pretty beautiful to hear his accent. Honestly,
I think it would be too, man. I told him he's more than welcome, and we'll figure it out.
He's a really sweet, great guy. So how I met him, how I came to meet him, a friend of mine who was the military consultant for Devil's Due Publishing on G.I. Joe, a guy named Tillman Goins. I don't know if he watches this or not. Love you, Tillman, if you're watching. We were talking, we became friends in one of the G.I. Joe message boards, and we were talking, and he had said somebody's name, and I said, did you say Josh? You talking about Josh Blaylock? He goes, yeah. I'm like, how do you know him? And he's like, oh, I work for him. And I was like, really? And he told me that he was a military consultant, and he said, I was like, oh man, I was talking to Tim Seeley about, he looked at my script for my book, and he thought it was cool, but he's too busy drawing G.I. Joe. And he goes, well, do you mind if I read it? So I sent him the script, and he loved it. And he was like, tell me what he was doing. He was starting his own comic book company, F9, it's like Funnel 9 Comics or something, like a tornado kind of gimmick. And so he had two books, Hell, Michigan, and Genie. And the first book, Hell, Michigan, had an artist named Clint Helinski on it. It's about a real town in called Hell, Michigan. And he got an option. They were going to do something with it, maybe as a movie or a show. And of course, a lot of times they'll throw some money at you, and then it's frozen forever. Nothing happens. And his other book, Genie, was the book that Zoo was drawing. I think, and I don't remember the premise. It was like an evil genie or something. And so when I was going to do the Dominus, I used Clint at first, and I was trying to go through Image Shadowline, Jim Valentino's Image line, and because Tillman had introduced me to his editor in chief, a girl named Chris Simon, if I'm saying her name right, or Kristen Simon, something like that. And so she was kind of guiding me along, and we had the sample pages ready to go of Clint's work, and he was kind of mimicking Jim Lee's style a bit. And there was, like, I think at the time, and Clint's a really great guy, there was some controversy with him on like message boards and forums that people said he copied styles too much. And so eventually the Jim turned the book down, because he wanted to keep making books that don't sell. And then I went to another company called Alias, and they gave me a contract. And then right when I was asking them the fine details, they dumped their entire line of comics to try to do Christian bookstore stuff. And I was just like, man, I'm so disappointed here. I'm so close. And then I was like, I'm firing everybody on this project, including myself. I'm going to totally rewrite it because I think it can be better. I think the art could be better. And so Tillman had recommended use Zoo. And so I reached out to Zoo and I gave him my script. And man, it's like he was inside my mind and drew what I saw.
It is, man. It's like that guy
Yeah.
can, and I've
so
told you
good
about working with you, Dana. It's like I can explain something to him, and it's like he plucks the image right out of my mind that's already there that I don't think is going to be able to be put onto paper, and he's done that with like the character designs and everything.
What's been nice about it too is originally Terry had asked me to do the artwork for this, and I started on it, but because I used to draw all the time, and I felt like I was pretty decent at it, and I hadn't done it for a long, long time, and I sat down, and it was like this wasn't my hand, that I was trying to control it from up here, and it was just not doing what I wanted it to do, and it was really frustrating, and it was going slow, and then finally Terry and I talked, and I was like, Bud, I don't think I can do this. Like, I want to, but the timeline is going to be an absolute train wreck if you wait on me to actually draw this and make it look right. And then it was perfect that he reached out to you to reach out to Zoo, because I've read both Dominus books and the stuff looks great. So, and then everything he's given us so far for this book has looked really, really solid.
And I tell you something, Terry, I think I told you this a long time ago when we did my Origin podcast. It was like 3.5 hours or something.
Yeah.
And people got out of school, like grew up and got jobs while we were doing this, but so long it went. But when I was I was working on my book, the first one, originally was going to be a comic book miniseries, because that was you do like 4 or 5 issues and do a graphic novel a couple months later, that sort of thing. And because Dark Horse talked to me, IDW talked to me, I talked to Image years prior. I won a contest with it with Josh Blaylock and Devil's Due Publishing, which I thought that meant they were going to publish it. It just meant that I got to have access to them and ask them questions and kind of learn about the industry from that end. And then and then I bought the store. And so like I was probably maybe written the 3rd issue by the time I bought the store, and the store needed my 100% attention. Because I had this crazy idea that I was going to buy it, still worked where I worked, because I had like a $7,000 bonus on the line. But a friend of mine was like, well, go make your 7,000 at the store you owned, dummy. And so we did like 35 grand in like 14 days, my first 14, 15 days, because we had a massive sale and just kind of new way of doing things. But anyway, so I was kind of slow getting back to it, and he kind of had these start, stop sort of things. So finally, when I got to the 4th issue and I finally got it written, and I sent the script to Zoo, I said, hey, Zoo, I finally got it knocked out. I 2:30 p.m. to 2:30 a.m. last Sunday, I wrote 32 pages. I was like, oh, that's impressive. And I was like, well, just tell me what you think. And he's like, oh, I like the script. I was like, all right. I was like, go ahead and start drawing. And so about 2 weeks later, he sends me a message. He goes, check your email. And I pulled up my email, and man, he had the first like 4 pages penciled out like he does. and I started tearing up because I mean it was like it took so long to get this final chapter written and to get it written, get it written properly, not like I don't know, because it was really tough for me to do that last chapter. And man, to see my thoughts on paper in art, it blew me away. I was like telling my wife, like, get in here, you did like 10 pages. And it's like, that's exactly what I wrote, and that's exactly what I see. And he is that good. He is that good. And I plan to work with him for a very, very long time. And then we have a colorist team that I met through him. They're from Brazil. And there's a huge difference if you look at book 1 and book 2. The coloring is just amazing, and it makes Zoo's art even look better. And of course, this art stepped up big time in book 2. But like, he's a great, great guy, great artist. I can't say enough about him, and I'm happy that he's involved in this, and that you guys are pleased about it.
Yeah, very much so.
All right, guys, we are getting spam comments now. So anyway,
The chat
yeah,
just got real weird for a second.
yeah, we're getting a little bit of spam. I don't even know who the hell that was, but they're banned now. So anyway, my in-laws are here, so we are kind of at our time limit. Next week, I would love to come back on this and talk more about it, spend a little bit more time discussing all of these things with backgrounds and the ARC project. And David, you've got some projects coming up as well that we need to talk about. So we will see you all next.
And real quick, David and I might do a special episode, just delving into the comic books and what's going on with that. Whenever David wants to do it, I'm down for it.
Yeah,
Because there's so much information coming.
Yeah, there's it'll be a heavy Skybound episode, probably with Dan and myself, because we can't really delve into the details and minutia of the stories and the characters and all the stuff that's going on. So we're gonna do a deep dive into Skybound here.
Somebody over here has not read everything yet.
Womp womp.
Womp womp. So thank you very much. I appreciate it, Dan. Yep. And thank you everybody in the chat, and thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, have a great week, everybody.
Good talking to you guys.